You know, sometimes the biggest revolutions don't start with some huge explosion. They start with a really quiet shift in thinking. A change from chasing what everyone else is chasing to building something that actually truly matters. And this is one of those stories.
So this question is really at the heart of everything we're going to talk about today. I mean, it sounds kind of impossible, right? How does a piece of hardware, a machine, become a philosophy? But believe it or not, that's exactly what happened with a company called Osoji. And the whole story really kicks off with a problem that pretty much every business today has to deal with. This quote from the marketing legend Seth Godin just nails it. It points to this huge trap, the illusion of success online. And it's a trap Osoji's founder fell into, big time.
So in the beginning, the goal was pretty simple. Just sell a product. And the path to do that seemed obvious. Get likes, get followers. But as we're about to see, all those numbers, they meant absolutely nothing.
Okay, so let's meet the guy at the center of this, Octavio Urzúa. Now, he was not your typical, loud, in-your-face entrepreneur. In fact, he spent nearly a decade just searching, looking for the right idea. It just goes to show you that sometimes patience, not just pure hustle, is the real key.
So after 8 long years, he finally takes the plunge. He imports 200 of these cleaning robots, thinking, this is it, this is the next big thing. The market, though, well, it had other plans. They just didn't sell at all. It was a complete flop, a totally crushing moment that honestly could have been the end of the entire story.
But it wasn't the end. Not even close. It was the turning point. Because when your own ideas completely fail, you've really only got 2 choices. You can quit, or you can find some new ideas. Octavio chose to learn, and he learned from some of the most unconventional thinkers out there.
First up, from Seth Godin, he learned about the purple cow. Now, the idea is so simple, but it's totally profound. Don't just try to be a little bit better. Be different. Be so unique, so remarkable that people can't help but stop and talk about you. Because being average makes you invisible, but being remarkable, that gets you noticed.
Next, from a mentor named Peter J. Daniels, he learned to think on 3 different levels. So, level 1, the outer court, that's about getting good at the practical stuff, the skills. But to really make an impact, you need level 2, the inner court. That's where you operate based on deep, core principles. And that final level, the Holy of Holies, that's about leading with a vision so powerful, it actually changes your reality. It's all about purpose over profit.
And the final piece of this wisdom came from a really unlikely place, the rainforest. I mean, think about it. How can a rainforest with its notoriously bad, nutrient-poor soil be the most abundant ecosystem on the entire planet? Well, the answer is that it creates its own value from almost nothing. It doesn't wait around for perfect conditions, it makes them.
So, armed with this totally new way of thinking, Octavio didn't just try again, he completely reinvented his business. He decided it was time to build his very own purple cow.
And what he did was completely counterintuitive. While all his competitors were adding more buttons, more features, more complicated settings, Osoji did the exact opposite. They made a robot with just one button that did one thing perfectly. It was simple, it was effective, and it actually solved a real problem for real people.
And instead of just dumping money into online ads and chasing those empty likes, he went totally old school. He went out and found his first customers face-to-face. He showed them the product, he actually listened to what they had to say, and he built real, genuine trust, one conversation at a time.
So what happens when you make this huge shift from hype to actually helping, from complex to simple? Well, you get a number like this. What do you think that represents?
Yep, that's 300% annual growth. And this wasn't some one-time fluke. This was sustained, explosive growth for 5 years straight. By creating something truly remarkable for a very specific group of people, the market finally came to them.
And that growth wasn't just a number on a spreadsheet. It turned into real, tangible impact. Today, Osoji is in over 225,000 homes in Chile alone, and it's expanding like crazy across Latin America. It just proves that this model doesn't just work, it scales.
But the story doesn't just stop with a bunch of impressive sales figures. Because somewhere along the way, Osoji stopped being just a robotics company, and it became something much, much bigger. It became a movement.
The key is actually hidden right in the name. See, in Japanese culture, Osoji isn't just cleaning. It's this important year-end ritual of deep cleaning your entire home and your workspace to purify your space, get rid of all the clutter, and start the new year totally fresh. It's this beautiful idea that external order creates internal peace.
And that whole philosophy is baked into everything they do. They talk about creating technology with a soul. They operate under kenshin, which is this principle of serving with humility. And they make a really simple but powerful promise. If you have a problem, a real person will be there to help you, not some chatbot. It's about service, not just selling a product.
So what's the big takeaway from this whole story? What's the lesson here, especially for entrepreneurs in Chile who are looking to build something that can go global?
Well, it really all comes back to this. See, real marketing isn't about tricking people or just being the loudest person in the room. It's an act of empathy. It's about finding a group of people, really understanding their problem, and generously offering them a solution.
And the lesson from Osoji's story is just one of huge optimism. It shows that you don't have to be in Silicon Valley to create something amazing. You can build a world-class, purpose-driven, and deeply ethical company right here from Chile. You just have to solve a real problem for real people.
So I'll leave you with this final challenge. Imagine you are forced to charge 10 times more for whatever it is you sell. What extraordinary value would you have to create to actually justify that price? Forget competing on price. Answering that question, that will force you to create something truly remarkable, something worth talking about.